Chihiro was moving to a new city with her parents. They were driving to begin a new life. Along the way, Chihiro looked unhappy the whole time.
She did not want to leave her old school or her friends behind. Holding the flowers her classmates had given her, she felt nervous and uneasy. She believed her new life would be lonely, and she worried that she would not be able to fit in.
As they drove near a mountain road, her father accidentally took the wrong turn. He noticed a strange path ahead, next to a large red gate that looked like the entrance to an abandoned building. Her father thought there might be an old amusement park inside, so he decided to take a look. Although her mother hesitated a little, she eventually followed him inside. Chihiro did not want to go in. The place felt strangely quiet. There was no one around, yet a delicious smell floated through the air. She slowly followed her parents through a long tunnel and arrived at a place that looked like a small town.
The town was filled with old buildings and many small food shops. Even though there were no customers or workers, the tables were covered with hot, freshly cooked food. Chihiro's parents were delighted. They believed it would be fine to eat first and pay later, since no owner was around.
But Chihiro felt that something was wrong. She kept warning her parents not to eat food that belonged to someone else, but they ignored her completely. The two of them sat down and began stuffing themselves with food, eating more and more without stopping. Feeling afraid, Chihiro wandered away from the town by herself. As she walked around, she noticed the sky slowly growing dark. Strange shadows began appearing on the once empty streets. Soon, the river suddenly rose and completely covered the road back.
At that moment, Chihiro saw many strange beings appearing in the streets. Some looked like monsters, some looked like spirits, and others resembled animals. The quiet town suddenly became lively. Lights lit up one by one, and the air filled with a mysterious atmosphere. Terrified, Chihiro ran back to the place where her parents had been eating, only to discover that they had turned into pigs. She could not believe her eyes. She kept calling out to them, but they no longer understood her words and only continued eating. Chihiro trembled in fear. She finally realized that this was not an ordinary town at all, but a world where spirits lived. Because her parents had been greedy, they had been punished. Just as Chihiro was about to lose hope, a boy suddenly appeared. His name was Haku. He looked calm and mysterious. Haku told Chihiro that if she wanted to save her parents, she first had to survive in this world. He explained that humans who lost their names would slowly disappear. Haku told Chihiro to quickly find the ruler of this world, Yubaba. Yubaba owned a huge bathhouse where many spirits came to rest and bathe. Almost all the workers there were not ordinary humans. Haku guided Chihiro through the complicated buildings and gave her some magical food. After eating it, her body, which had almost become transparent, slowly returned to normal. Haku warned her that she had to work hard in this world, or she might be turned into an animal. Although Chihiro was terrified, she gathered her courage and headed toward the bathhouse to save her parents. The bathhouse was extremely busy. Giant boilers burned endlessly, hot water flowed everywhere, and strange sounds filled the air. When the workers saw Chihiro, they were shocked because no human had entered this place for a very long time. Chihiro desperately begged everyone to let her work there, but many refused to help her. Some laughed at her, while others believed she would only cause trouble. Still, Chihiro refused to give up. Finally, she met Yubaba. Yubaba had a giant head, sharp eyes, and a powerful voice. She hated people who wasted time and disliked anyone who disobeyed her. Chihiro's voice trembled with fear, but she continued asking for work. At first, Yubaba refused, but according to the rules of that world, if someone continued begging for a job, she eventually had to accept. So Yubaba made a contract with Chihiro and stole the hiro from her name, leaving her only with the name Sen. From then on, everyone called her Sen. Haku had warned her earlier never to forget her real name. If she forgot it, she might never return to the human world again. Sen began working at the bathhouse. Every day she had to do exhausting tasks. She cleaned rooms, carried heavy things, welcomed guests, and constantly followed orders from the other workers. At first, Sen was clumsy and awkward. She did not understand the rules of the bathhouse, nor did she know how to interact with spirits. Many workers thought she was useless. However, Sen did not run away. Even though she often felt so tired that she wanted to cry, she still worked seriously and did her best. Slowly, some workers began changing their opinion of her. One of them was a girl named Lin, who took especially good care of Sen. Although Lin spoke bluntly, she was actually kind-hearted. She warned Sen about problems and secretly helped her whenever she could. There was also an old man named Kamaji, who controlled the bathhouse boilers. He had many arms and worked non-stop every day. Though he looked strict, he was also very kind. Little by little, Sen realized that although this world was full of strange spirits, many of them were not as frightening as they first appeared. One evening, a very unusual guest arrived at the bathhouse. The guest was covered in dirt and gave off a terrible smell. Nobody wanted to serve him because they believed he was a stink spirit. But Sen still carefully helped him take a bath. While cleaning him, Sen discovered that his body was filled with garbage. Together with the workers, she pulled out a bicycle, metal scraps, and piles of trash from inside him. After all the garbage was removed, the stink spirit suddenly transformed into a true river spirit. Humans had polluted the river for many years, causing the spirit to become filthy and foul-smelling. The river spirit was deeply grateful to Sen and gave her a special medicine ball. From then on, everyone respected Sen even more because she was not only brave but also very kind. At the same time, Sen and Haku grew closer. Haku often secretly helped Sen. Although he was young, he possessed powerful magic. Sometimes he could even transform into a white dragon and fly through the sky. However, Sen slowly realized that Haku was suffering inside. Haku had already forgotten his real name. He continued working for Yubaba, unable to gain true freedom. Without his name, he remained under her control. One day, another strange guest arrived at the bathhouse. Everyone called him No-Face. No-Face was completely black and wore a white mask. He looked quiet and lonely. At first, No-Face simply stood silently near the bridge. One rainy day, Sen kindly opened the door for him and allowed him into the bathhouse to escape the rain. Because of this kindness, No-Face seemed to become deeply attached to Sen. Later, he continuously offered Sen gold, hoping to gain her attention, but Sen was not greedy and did not want to take advantage of him, so she refused. However, the other workers at the bathhouse became obsessed with the gold. Everyone tried to please No-Face in hopes of becoming rich. No-Face absorbed the greed around him, and his personality slowly became more unstable. He began eating non-stop and even swallowed some workers whole. The entire bathhouse fell into chaos. Everyone was terrified, but No-Face only wanted to see Sen. Finally, Sen stepped forward. She was not tempted by the gold, nor did she run away. Instead, she gave No-Face the medicine ball from the river spirit. After eating it, No-Face began vomiting violently and spit out everything he had swallowed. Slowly, he returned to normal again. Sen then took No-Face away from the bathhouse, hoping to help him recover completely. Around this time, Haku was suddenly badly injured. It turned out that Haku had stolen an important seal from Yubaba's twin sister, Zeniba. While flying back to the bathhouse in dragon form, Haku was attacked by many magical paper birds and collapsed. Sen became extremely worried about him. She discovered that the seal carried a dangerous curse. In order to save Haku, Sen decided to personally visit Zeniba. Only Zeniba might know how to break the curse. So Sen began a new journey with No-Face and a tiny mouse. Together, they boarded a train that traveled across the water. The journey was very quiet. Outside the windows stretched an endless sea of water beneath a gray sky. The passengers sat silently, looking like lonely spirits. As Sen sat on the train, she constantly thought about Haku and her parents. During the journey, she slowly became more mature than before. In the past, she had always depended on others and cried whenever she faced difficulties. But now she had learned to face problems by herself. Eventually, Sen arrived at Zeniba's house. Unlike the harsh and controlling Yubaba, Zeniba seemed warm and gentle. She lived in a quiet little home and personally prepared tea and snacks for everyone. Sen sincerely apologized because Haku had stolen Zeniba's seal. But Zeniba did not become angry. She told Sen that truly important things could never disappear because of magic. Some answers could only be found within one's own heart. Sen spent peaceful days there. No-Face also gradually changed. He stopped obsessing over gold and quietly helped with daily chores. He seemed much happier than before. Sen suddenly realized that No-Face had lost control mainly because he had been lonely and influenced by the greed surrounding him. Later, Haku finally regained consciousness and flew to Zeniba's house to bring Sen back. During the flight, Sen suddenly remembered something from her childhood. When she was young, she had once fallen into a river and nearly drowned. At that moment, a gentle force had carried her safely back to shore. Only then did Sen finally understand that the river had actually been Haku. Haku's true name was the Kohaku River. Because humans later filled in the river, Haku lost his home and slowly forgot his own name. After Sen reminded Haku of his real name, he finally regained his memories. Haku was overjoyed and finally became free from Yubaba's control. After returning to the bathhouse, Yubaba decided to give Sen one final test. She placed a group of pigs in front of Sen and ordered her to identify which ones were her parents. If she guessed wrong, she would never be allowed to leave. Sen carefully looked at the pigs. This time, she did not panic like before. After thinking quietly for a moment, she confidently told Yubaba, "My parents are not here." Yubaba remained silent for a while before finally admitting that Sen was correct. The contract was broken and Sen finally became free. Haku walked Sen to the river. Before they separated, Haku told her never to look back. Although Sen did not want to leave him, she slowly continued forward. After passing through the long tunnel, she finally returned to the human world. Her parents had become human again. They seemed completely unaware of everything that had happened and believed they had only been briefly lost. Her father urged everyone to leave quickly because it was getting late. Chihiro looked back once at the mysterious tunnel, and her eyes no longer looked the same as before. Although she was still an ordinary little girl, the experiences she had gone through had changed her deeply. In the past, she had been timid, dependent, and quick to cry. But now she had learned courage and understood the importance of kindness. She realized that greed could cause people to lose what truly mattered. In that mysterious world, Chihiro had met many strange people and spirits. Some looked frightening but were gentle inside, while others appeared friendly yet were controlled by greed. These experiences helped her truly understand the meaning of growing up for the first time. As the car drove back onto the mountain road, sunlight slowly shone through the forest. Chihiro sat quietly in the back seat, holding the flowers that had already begun to fade. She no longer complained about her new life like before, because she knew that no matter what difficulties awaited her in the future, she now had the courage to keep moving forward. And that mysterious world remained in her memory forever, like a distant but real dream.